There are many hotspots in India which are famous for a bird or two that are endemic to that area or easily seen. However, Phawngpui Blue Mountain National Park at Far Pak, Mizoram has 4 such birds which are endemic to Mizoram, and one of them can only be seen here in India. I term them as fantastic Four of Far Pak. These are Mount Victoria's Babax, Breasted Woodpecker, Hume's Treecreeper, and Chin Hill's Wren-Babbler. All 4 are included in the list of rare birds of India. This is based on my trip with Orko Sarkar in April of 2024. I have covered the first 3 in separate videos, and if you have seen those, you can skip to 4th bird, Chin Hill Wren-Babbler. Let's start with the topmost attraction of Far Pak, Mount Victoria's Babax, which is endemic not just to Mizoram but to Phawngpui Blue Mountain National Park. In 1953, Rupchand Thakur and Walter Norman Quells collected a specimen of this bird. Then in 1997, Dipankar Ghosh reported a sighting from Mizoram, though it didn't catch the needed attention. For the next 25 years, it was considered as a mysterious bird that ranked consistently in all articles listing rare birds in India. However, the situation changed dramatically after Pooja Sharma and Andrew Spencer found this bird in Phawngpui National Park, Mizoram in 2022. We all should be thankful to them and their support staff for discovering this bird and letting us know the area. Since then, birders are traveling to Phawngpui to see this bird, and as you can see, the sighting records are increasing gradually. It is no more reported in the rare birds list for India, though as the chart shows, it is seen only in Phawngpui in India apart from Chin Hills in Myanmar. Mount Victoria Babax is a type of laughing thrush. It was split from Chinese Babax in 2005. It is named after Mount Victoria, which is the highest mountain in the Chin state of western Myanmar. Though it is endemic to a small region, but its population is stable and hence it is marked as least concern from conservation standpoint. To see this bird, you need to travel to Far Pak area of Phawngpui National Park, Mizoram. It is seen in elevation range of 1200 to 2800 meters. What you see in the video is a typical habitat. Broadleaf forest on the slope or side of the hill that is bordered by grasslands and shrubs. Sighting happens on the branches of trees where it generally perches and calls. The bird does not migrate and can be seen throughout the year. However, reaching Far Pak during monsoon seasons is really difficult considering steep muddy road with sharp turns. Hence, birding tours happen during November to May. A friend of mine went with a different group in November and came back empty-handed. Hence, I went there in April with Orko Sarkar and got a good sighting. I would suggest March-April to be best time, which is also close to its breeding season when all birds are more active and monsoon has not picked up yet. The bird looks very distinct and easy to identify. Sexes look similar. Juvenile is more buffish with less distinct streaking. It doesn't have any other subspecies, which means the bird we see in Myanmar and in India are same. We reached Far Pak around midday and light was harsh. We did search for the Babax when we went through the cliffside forest on our way, but did not notice any activity. Orko Sarkar, our guide and tour planner, has seen this bird several times and observed closely. He told us the bird sighting probability is high in early morning and very low in rest of the day. Hence, we didn't try Babax on our first day at Far Pak. Next day morning, we woke up early and followed Orko to the place he has seen the bird many times. He was walking around the area and was trying to hear the call. We waited anxiously for the bird, but there was no immediate success. Orko said he observed the bird is generally not active if the wind is not blowing, which was exactly the situation then. The area had many other birds, but we did not want to get ourselves distracted and kept our focus on the target bird. After an hour of wait, the wind picked up slowly. Suddenly Orko pointed out that he has heard the call of the bird from the valley down the cliff and he should be ready. Few minutes later, we also heard the call of the bird. It slowly climbed the hillside and finally showed up in front of us. However, it was behind the branches and I was not getting the clean shot. Orko suggested us to wait and not to do any movement. The bird moved from one tree to another and then finally sat on a perch where you could see and photograph it clearly. There were two birds and they were calling from two different trees. I commend my fellow birders for their discipline as nobody rushed nor broke the line. I have read and heard so much about this bird, and here it is, right in front of me, calling in open perch. It was a wonderful experience. The bird stayed there for long, guess 10 to 12 minutes, which means if you do not disturb and approach too close, you will get good chance to see and photograph this bird. Next, move to Stripe-Breasted Woodpecker, which I found to be the hardest to spot in Far Pak. It was the call and drumming of the Stripe-Breasted Woodpecker, one of the target birds in our trip to Phawngpui National Park at Far Pak, Mizoram. For 3 days, we searched and searched this bird in the forest areas of Far Pak, but could not hear, not see the bird. On the day 1, we did see a woodpecker on a branch which looked similar, but we could not take any picture, nor could see it enough to do any ID. I must say, this is the max time I have spent on any woodpecker in India. If you search rare woodpecker of India in Google, along with the great slaty woodpecker, it lists Stripe-Breasted Woodpecker. It also shows up in Times of India 2024 report on 10 rarest birds, not just woodpeckers, that exist in India. It is also listed in a similar article by Bird Count India in 2021 named Fantastic Birds and Where to Find Them. Going by the sighting record, Sindh woodpecker and great spotted woodpecker would have much lower counts, but those were one-off sighting and better be kept outside the ranking. In Birds of India book, Bikram Grewal, late Sumit Sen and others mentioned pale-headed woodpecker as rarest. But since then, in places like Rongtong, West Bengal, this bird is seen consistently. As you see in eBird website, as of the creation of this video in February 2025, there are only 73 sightings of Stripe-Breasted Woodpecker with only 39 photos and 7 audios, which reflects the difficulty. Hence, I felt this should be considered as one of the rarest woodpeckers to be seen in India. Do share in comments which woodpecker you think is rarest or toughest to see in India. While this bird sighting was reported from West Bengal, Meghalaya and Manipur, but as you see in the pictures, most of the sightings are from Far Pak area. It is resident there and can be seen throughout the year, though reaching that place during rainy season is extremely difficult. The bird's preferred habitat is evergreen forests of pine and oak in hills. Hence, we search similar trees first. With no success, we moved to secondary habitat of edge of broad-leaved forest and areas with scattered trees, but still no success. We probably walked 4 to 5 hours just for this bird. We searched the entire area and dedicated 2 full sessions for this. Earlier, there used to be a tall pine tree in front of the rest house in Far Pak, marked as number 1, where a pair had a nest, and many saw the bird on that tree, and that way it was easier to spot. However, weeks before our visit in April 2024, a thunder struck the tree and top portion fell off and the nest was gone. Since then, it became extremely tough to see this bird. We walked up and down the road to the rest house, marked as number 2, several times, where just in the previous trip, Orko Sarkar, our guide and trip planner, saw the bird. The third place where the bird was seen by Orko was behind the rest house, marked as number 3. Here around the dusk on day 3, we faintly heard the call of the bird but could not see it. Our driver Kiddy told he once saw the bird around the cliffside and he walked along with him the entire stretch on a late morning under hot sun, but again with no success. We went to bed on the third day thinking we missed the bird. and have to come back again. We were to leave very early in the morning the next day. We were done with our packing, luggage was loaded to the truck, and we were getting ready to leave. Suddenly, we heard the voice of Orko. "Come out quickly! Heard the call of stripe-breasted." We ran in whatever dress we were in. We were lucky not to pack the camera, as we planned to do birding on our way back. As I came out, I saw a bird flew towards the cliff. It was there on the tree right next to the rest house. We all ran towards it. Finally, could see the bird we were so desperate to see in last 3 days. It was climbing up the tree. All of us pointed our camera from wherever we were with whatever setting we had. It was playing hide and seek by staying mostly behind the branches with occasionally coming out in the open. Finally, it paused for a moment on an open branch and we could take some good pictures of its back. But we needed its front picture to see and photograph the stripe on the breast. Finally, all our hard work paid off. It gave a nice pose by hanging from a side branch, exposing both front and back, where it stayed for a few seconds, allowing us to take a clear picture. Our hands were shaking in excitement, made worse by the increased heartbeat due to the sudden running down the hill. But we were happy that we could finally see the bird which is endemic to that region. This was only possible due to Orko Sarkar, our guide and planner and an expert who didn't give up his hope and waiting outside even in the moment of departure, hoping the bird would show up, which it did. Thank you, Orko, not just for another lifer, but for a life lesson, not to give up until it is over. Hope the viewer will see the bird in their trip and probably won't need to wait till the last minute. Third in the list is Hume's Treecreeper, which many missed in winter, but I found it to be easiest to find in summer. Hume's Treecreeper, Sarthia munipurensis, is the rarest treecreeper in India. Except just one record in Nagaland, all sightings in India, as reported in ebird.org, happened exclusively in Mizoram, which makes it an Indian endemic bird to that state. Outside India, it is seen in Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, South China, Laos, but except parts of Myanmar, rest are different subspecies like Senensis, Meridionalis or Laotiana. Global sighting count is around 3000. In India and Chin Hills and Arakan areas of Myanmar, we see the nominate race Sarthia munipurensis. Interestingly, the scientific name indicates this was first seen in Manipur, but today there is no sighting record of this bird in that state in eBird. Guess over the years it got extinct there. Though the bird is marked least concern by IUCN in the last study done in 2016, its population was found decreasing. We need to check what update comes in next assessment. The bird's average lifespan is estimated as 3.3 years. The bird is named after British naturalist Alan Octavian Hume. The bird was first described way back in 1890. The bird resides in moist hill evergreen forest around foothills ranging 1300 to 3000 meter elevation. It might do some altitudinal migration but is a resident bird in a region. This is not only the rarest treecreeper of India but in general considered as one of the rarest birds in India. It was noted as one of the honorable mentions that nearly made it to the list of rare birds by Bird Count India 2021 November report named Fantastic Birds and Where to Find Them, which covered, in the words taken from the report, resident bird species that are so rare that the number of recent reports has trickled down to a handful. As you see, during creation of this video in January 2026, there are only 195 sightings with just 16 photos as reported in eBird. When I saw the bird in April of 2024, it was even lower. In India, we have 5 kinds of treecreepers and all are seen on the north around Himalayas and foothills in northeast. In other words, no treecreeper is seen in western, central or southern India. Talking global, there are only 9 types of treecreepers seen in the world, and we have 5 of them in India. Bar-tailed treecreeper, with close to 18,000 sightings in eBird, is the most common treecreeper in India. Roughly 80% treecreeper sightings we have in India are bar-tailed treecreeper. Sikkim treecreeper with around 3,000 sightings is not hard to see. Rusty flank treecreeper with 1,400 sightings and Hodgson's treecreeper with 1,100 sightings are not common, but we do get to see them in right habitats in multiple places. As per eBird, only 1% treecreeper sighting in India are Hume's treecreeper. This is the reason I marked this as rarest treecreeper in my video title. Please note, Indian spotted creeper, Salpornis spilonota, belongs to a different genus and has over 1,100 sightings. The bird is easily distinguishable from other treecreepers by its pale tan orange throat. If you cannot see the throat, then bright contrasting rusty tail distinguishes it from all other treecreepers except Sikkim treecreeper, with which it doesn't share any habitat. In fact, in Mizoram, it is the only treecreeper we get to see, which makes it easier, though we should still validate the ID pointers. Hume's treecreeper is seen in few areas in Mizoram, like in Moorland National Park, but most sightings happen in Phawngpui Blue Mountain National Park in Far Pak. That's where we also went in 2024 April with Orko Sarkar. Please check his interview in my channel, which will help you plan your trip better. Also, please check the Mizoram playlist in my channel, which will cover other hotspots that we see during our journey. When I was going to Mizoram, I was a bit worried as a friend of mine went there in November of the previous year and missed the bird. However, we saw the bird plenty of times and it gave excellent opportunities to take pictures and videos. In fact, we didn't need to reach Far Pak. We saw it on our way from Sangao. I have covered it in my video Birding in Mizoram, Sangao to Far Pak via Thaltlang. In Far Pak, the bird was seen mostly around the forest rest house and forest on the flat top. I found it very easy to detect, as it was singing and calling all the time, which drew our attention from the far. Then we walked to the tree and found it climbing up. All we needed to do was to get a good angle and take a picture. So I suggest you familiarize yourself with the song and call of the bird so that you are not always dependent on the guide alone. It is key, as guide might be focusing on other endemics like Mount Victoria's Babax, but you can leverage that wait time by spotting this bird yourself and taking pictures. It gives some self-confidence also.
At that point was to give him my lens. So throughout silent I was without any camera.
We saw the bird multiple times during our trip, and if we wanted, we could have seen it more. March-April is considered to be its breeding season. I assume that's why the bird was so active and was making so much calls and songs. This might not be the case in November, so I suggest you pick March as the month for your trip. In April, you may run into the risks of rain when going up from Sangao to Far Pak might be a challenge. With this sighting, I covered all treecreepers of India. I'll publish a video on where to see and how to identify each of them in a future video. I'll give the link in the description. Finally, the fourth and final target, the Skulker, Chin Hills Wren-Babbler. Chin Hills Wren-Babbler, Spileonaris OTC, is small brown colored bird with a long tail, scaly upper parts and white breast that is flecked with dark spots. Earlier, it was considered as a subspecies of long-tailed Wren-Babbler. In 2008, long-tailed Wren-Babbler was split into 4 species: Naga Wren-Babbler, pale-throated Wren-Babbler, grey-bellied Wren-Babbler and Chin Hills Wren-Babbler. This bird is named after the Chin Hills that are a range of mountains in Chin state, northwestern Myanmar, that also extends northward into India. The Chin Hills are the eastern part of the Patkai range, which includes the Lusai Hills in Nagaland that we are covering as part of this series. It is seen in Mizoram in India and Chin Hills region in Myanmar. It is another India endemic bird of Mizoram. It is a skulker that mostly stays and moves under the bush and scrub, and hence, like all wren-babblers, is a tough bird to see and photograph. In fact, I couldn't take any decent video and plan to be back in this region to fix that gap, and when I do, I'll publish a dedicated video on this species and will give a link in description. Female is slightly duller and juvenile has less scaling. It is a monotype bird with no subspecies, which means it's the same species that is seen in India and Myanmar. Like other wren-babblers, it is a resident bird in a region. They nest and breeds in March to June. In Far Pak, we have seen it in 3 different patches. I would say it is the least difficult among the 4 I am covering, but getting a clear picture might be a challenge. We saw a pair on the day of arrival. When you walk through the forest patch on the left side of the rest house, you go through a pathway where the forest bed is slightly above the path. It made a nest on a hollow fallen tree trunk. However, they didn't come out in open, and all we could get was shots through branches. We also saw another pair on the right side pathway that goes next to the cliff. Here, they made their nest on the slope. We could see them moving parallel to the road around 2 to 4 feet from ground several times, but they were fast and was not stopping in the open places. After some tries, we could get some pictures. They called from time to time, which helped us spot them. It is one more reason one should come here in March-April time during their breeding period. With that, I covered all 4 species which are endemic to Mizoram. I suggest you focus on Mount Victoria's Babax as the first thing in the morning till you get to see the bird. Once done, focus should be shifted to Chin Hills and Wren-Babbler. Then, rest of the day, keep searching for Breasted Woodpecker, which is the hardest and the one you have higher risk of missing. Keep your ears open for Hume's Treecreeper as you move past forest areas, and I think you will get to spot this bird with the call. Once all 4 are done, then only you should focus on other birds which are seen in many other parts in Northeast India, which I've covered in Target Birds of Phawngpui Blue Mountain National Park, Far Pak, Mizoram, and Birding at Phawngpui Blue Mountain National Park, Far Pak, Mizoram Introduction. Please check other videos in my Mizoram playlist. If you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.